All right. So testing. See, let me know if you're in the chat and we can see each other in the chat a little bit. So I need to check that out and let me know. So we're live now and we're getting ready to get right into our conversation. And I just wanted to know. So anyway, give me a test, and we will get going after this right here.
That back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to rise from inner earth.
All right, so we are now ready to go. I just did a quick test, so if you saw that right now, then you will know. But anyway, we got a great show for you here tonight, and as always, we try to get deeper into the conversation. If you've been following me for quite some time, Roderick Martin, the host of Truth versus Authority podcast, and as you know, I go into the alleged reptilian agenda. Now, I think I'm probably one of the, influencers or YouTube channels. If you go to my personal channel and you search Roderick Martin, Truth versus the Third Authority, that really goes deep into what I call the reptilian agenda and what's going on. So anyway, you could, take the time and screenshot this right now. Go look at some of my previous videos that we talk about on my personal channel. I do a show on Monday nights, which is before this one. And I come here on Tuesday night, which is here with Forbidden Knowledge, and we crank things up even a little more a bit. So, but if you are a person that just even interested in information, or maybe you, like myself, have read a lot of the books that David Icke has put out, and talking about the global conspiracy, and these books have been around for over decades. And then we're talking about the Children of the Matrix. I got all of his books, and along with Jordan Maxwell, if you're a fan of Jordan Maxwell, he talks about this reptilian thing and everything else. But, I always talk about how they have this agenda, this rule, this plan, and how they carry out this thing. And as we live, of course, here for maybe 100 years or so as human beings, or 75 to 100 on average, their plan is, centuries, right? It is thousands of years. In as long as human beings has been here on the planet, they've always structured their plan. So while we again may think, all right, Roderick, this is just a simple thing, this goes up into they play a long game. They just obviously play a long game. So we're going to talk about Hollywood, or we call the magic of Hollywood. But I'll start with the word shapeshifters. Yeah, shapeshifters. You've heard the word and you've thought of the mythology, and you probably dismissed it. And most people do. Now, once again, if you sit in the dark and you're willing to initiate before the flickering altar of the screen and believing that you're watching a story, then you're not. You're participating in a ritual of indoctrination and a masterclass in misdirection that has been perfected for over a century. And you call it escapism, right? But I think it's the deepest form of psychic programming ever conceived. They show us the heroes and monsters. We're talking galaxies at war, tales of impossible love. But underneath it all, they're showing you them. They show you the alien invaders with the scale skin and the vertical pupils and the teeth that you call it special effects, right? And that's what we see it at. They show you the charisma in some of these leaders who are not what they seem. Their humanity, their flawless mask, and they call it drama is what they're calling it these days, right? They parade the deepest secrets before your eyes, showing you the truth of the reptilian agenda and what I consider a kind of a safe, sterile container of science fiction. And people, that's how they roll. That's how they roll. And they even let you laugh at the absurdity of the lizard people, right? Ruling the world. Right now, I have a shirt. It says Shapeshifters rules this planet. And, and I wear my reptilian shirts everywhere. On the back one, it has these eyeballs and saying, they're trying to look at our DNA, and you can find these on my website, truthversusauthority.com. If you like to support the store, you can do that, or the show itself. But anyway, I think that because we laugh at this thing, it's the final seal of their spell. We go, ha, ha, ha. It's like the spell. It's the sound of your own disbelief protecting them. You got that, right? You with me? You following behind it, because this is the core of the reptilian rule, to hide in plain sight. Now, the question, why would a force of draconian reptilians and an intelligence that has guided humanity from the shadows for millennia ever announce itself with warships and open conquest? Why would they do that? Their power is not in force, but it's in perception. Their victory is not in enslaving your body, but in owning your imagination. They built the dream factory over there in California. We all know about it, and turned it into the most effective weapon of mass deception in history. We're talking about Hollywood. Jordan Maxwell talks about it. He talks about the holly tree, and it gives you the esoteric of the wordplay and all of these things. People, these things are no joke. And they use this in front of us all the time, right? And it's something that, once again, we want to pay attention to it. Now, you've been taught to condition and program to see the evidence of their existence as mere entertainment. See, you see the truth, and sometimes you'll pay $12 for the privilege of calling it a lie. And so I ask you, what is the greatest trick these shapeshifters have ever pulled? And wasn't convincing you that they didn't exist, but convincing you that there only was ever a story. People, this is how they roll. And they are very good at how they roll, and they do this, okay? And so I want you to think about it. Look at this image for a minute. Just take a close look at it, stare at it a little bit, because Hollywood, the name itself is a symbol. It's a global sigil for the power of modern storytelling. And we're talking for over a century. This is a sprawling industry that had positioned itself as the world primary dream factory. It really has. And we're talking about a cultural engine projecting humanity's hopes. We're talking about fears, collective fantasies onto billions of screens. Now, the official narrative is one of the artistic merits and boundless creativity. It is the mythos that's built on archetypes of the hero's journey and a timeless structure identified by mythologist Joseph Campbell. And he called it a monomyth, right? And this is the story of the ordinary individual who receives a call to adventures into the world of wonder and danger, returns, transformed. You've seen the story, barbershop, beauty shop, Ice Cube's movie. They all use the same hero's journey story. Oh, okay, maybe I can dig a little deeper. Okay, Dorothy's journey to Oz, Luke Skywalker battles among the stars. The narrative formula has been proven universally, and everybody's is tapping into the thing. And psychiatrist Carl Jung termed this, and you've heard me say it, the collective unconscious. This is something that we need to think about when you think about this reptilian stuff. Now, if you Google Jung, Carl Jung, he's theorized that the human psyche contains a shared reservoir of primordial images or archetypes. Now, he figured that when you start looking deep into it, he talks about stuff like the hero, the mentor, and the shadow that emerges in myth and dreams all across all of these cultures, right? And Hollywood have done a great job in success in the view, and comes from the mastery of this psychic language. Now, I have something that's coming out pretty soon. It's a Shadows of Deception guide. And probably in a few weeks, you'll see it. It's one of the best things out there. And it's all about this reptilian stuff. Okay. But anyway, it mines, when we talk about Hollywood, it mines the collective unconscious for its most powerful symbols, reframing ancient myths as modern spectacles. The industry therefore presents itself as a mirror of the human soul, people. And it's the stories that serving what I call the psychic phenomena that reveals the nature of the soul. Yeah, they're digging deep. And this is the mainstream versions of the story. You know, Hollywood, you know, we can say as a cultural institution reflecting our shared humanity back to us. It's the mirror. And I used to say it all the time. Well, somebody didn't just make that up. It must really happen. And then I was like, no, my life ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't meet no whatever. You know what I'm saying? My life is not like that. Somebody's wrote that, but we walking around thinking life is like that. But they can make your life look like anything we want. We see the emergence of the artificial stuff now. We can make things look any way we want. And what they have been doing, they're doing it already. Yet, a persistent and deeply unsettled pattern emerges when you look past the narratives. Okay, let me just say that. Let me calm it down for you for a minute. Because for decades, a specific reoccurring motif has been methodically woven into the fabric of popular culture. They've been doing it for quite some time, and particularly with the science fiction genre, okay? Take a look at the alien invader, the hidden controller operating from the shadows, while the academic analysis dismisses this as a simple trope. The alien other as a metaphor for terrestrial anxieties, which is the sheer volume of thematic consistency out there of this imagery that suggests a more deliberate function, and it really does. And this is not a mere metaphor, people. According to researchers of the Reptilian Agenda, it's a broadcast. In fact, once again, David Icke talks about it. This Reptilian Agenda is not to be reckoned with or played with or misunderstood. It's real as it gets. Right. And so go get it. You can go to eBay or go to his website. He still have some of these old books that he's written. And this is way back then. And people's like, oh, you know, he's cuckoo. You know, but now they're like, oh, shucks, he was right all along. Now, I never believed that. You know, he's one of the greatest ones out there. So again, go check out the stories. And remember, this is the pattern of most visible Pacific thing in constant streams of films and also series depicting reptilian entities. And like I just said, David Icke, he argues that it's by design, a form of predictive programming managed to slow cold-blooded awakening on their terms. And he suggests that if you want to hide the truth from people, you present it to them with a version of reality so far removed from what is actually happening that the truth, when it's revealed, will seem too ludicrous to believe. And then Hollywood and the context become the perfect instrument for this deception. And again, we're talking about by presenting the concept of shapeshifters and lizard people as a figure of fiction, the entertainment industry preemptively neutralizes the shock of their potential reality, creating a psychic buffer when the emergent truth can be dismissed as entertainment. This is how deep they go with this. And we're talking about this alleged agenda, right? Okay. It's not a recent phenomenon. It's the roots that can be traced all the way back to cinematic history. In the 1980s, you got to remember, there was a TV series called V, depicted a seemingly benevolent alien race of reptilians in human disguise, offering technological marvels in exchange for Earth resources and eventually control. This was a film, and I know some of you have seen it before, and some of you may be a little too young. Go look it up. And this is way back in it, a long time ago. Then they had that 1988 film, They Live. Y'all remember that one, right? You know, and this one's often cited by conspiracy discussion people that breaks this thing down, portrays it as a hidden ruling class of skeletal reptilian-like aliens who control humanity through a subliminal message embedded in mass media. And these are not isolated examples, but the key piece is the larger mosaic of it all. The goal, Icke and others, and myself, saying that, hey, it is for them to hide the world controlled by reptilian bloodlines. I don't have the book right in front of me, but Fritz Springmeier, 13 original bloodlines, he called it bloodlines of the Illuminati. Get the book. Go read it. And understand this, the world, you know, the world is a book. And those who not read is only on the first page, man. You know what I'm saying? Of life. You know, open it up. Go find out. Now, once again, these bloodlines often referred to as the Illuminati. You got to remember that. And they were saying that they have, originated from extraterrestrial draconian reptilian race that interbred with the humanity in ancient times, establishing a shadow dynasty that continues to this day. All right, you can study that. You can go look this up for yourself. You can go and pay close attention to some of this stuff. And so the question is, what is your thoughts when it comes down to this? And please believe me, then if you want to go biblical, which we're not going to go tonight, I do it on my own personal channel. Go check me out, Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority. There's a link in the description. You can check that out too. But I can tie it into some biblical stuff. I can tie it into this religion. They tell us right there. They tell us. So you might as well go look it up yourself, or you can do what everybody else does, and not everybody else, but most people, and it might be not our community, right? We're a little different in it, but we all remember going to that house, and the person at the front of the room stands up and say, "Okay, how do y'all doing in the house this morning?" How y'all doing in the house this morning? All right, I want y'all to stand to your feet. All right, and you can follow along with this if you want. And let me put on my acting hat because I just want to do that. Let me put it on. But how y'all doing this morning? All right, yeah, okay. I want y'all to stand to your feet, turn to page such and such, Psalms, or in fact, Genesis. I want you to turn to Genesis today and look at your neighbor and say, it's a great day. It's a great day to believe this lie I'm about to tell you. And everybody go, yeah, it's a great day to believe the lie. And then I want to tell you that in Genesis, because you can't understand it because you're reading it, but they're reading it for you. And so they're saying, because they got the connection that you don't, that the interpretation that they're going to give you is exactly how it is from the word being the word, versus you seeing with your own eyes, reading and understanding that it says, let's make man in our image and the likenesses of ourselves. Well, basically everyone. The man is saying that he made man all by himself, even though he said ignore our, and ignore ourselves because it was just him, because he took the rib and the left rib and the right rib, and he said, I'm going to make man in the likenesses of ourselves, but it's just me by myself. So never mind the English, and the word is the word, and it's written in the word that it says like us. So anyway, that's just my interpretation of saying that that's how it rolls. You get what I'm saying? That's how it rolls. But anyway, that was a detour. The surface symbols are now ubiquitous, right? They're hiding in plain sight. It's the reptilian eye. The cold unblinking has become a visual shorthand for the alien intelligence. The forked tongue, the ancient serpentine image of deception, and the mirror, all right, in the dialogue of villains serving as non-human agenda. Now, the very structure of Hollywood, with the emphasis on powerful dynasties and similar bloodlines, is seen by some as a modern reflection of this ancient reptilian rule, where the leaders are not elected by talent, but they're selected by blood. And this is why you hear the rumors that every last one of these people that you and I or people have said, you're now going to be the president of the United States. If you follow diagonally, it goes all the way back. They're related cousins. And then there are descendants of Dracula. Really? And if you think about Dracula, the blood-sucking thing, it's just a more metaphor of them drinking whatever they drink, the flavor of their tea. All right. So, but history says that. And so if you don't believe that one, you can believe that there are some people that made all these pyramids in China and Egypt and where else? And other parts of the country, all aligned the same way, all looking up at Orion star system, but they had nothing to do with each other, but it's just a rumor. And these are some big rocks. They ain't none of it. Even the strongest man on this planet ain't lifting the rocks, even if he was hit with a whip. Okay, Something else did this. I'm just tying it all together. But it's actively programmed them. I'm saying through Hollywood. We're back on track that's a slow reveal of the shapeshifters to ensure that the veil finally drops in humanity, and not the screen, but people want to say it. It's just like in the movies. That's all they want you to do. That's all they want you to do. All they want you to do is to say it's just like in the movie. So take a look at this image. I want you to take a closer look at this, okay? And let me just paint a picture. See, the cold cinematic landscape of Hollywood is to engage in a form of modern archaeology, evacuating layers of meaning buried beneath the spectacle. See, the symbols slithered through the frames are not random artifacts, people. They are deliberate invocations of ancient power. I want you to understand it. So just take a look at that and just focus on it a little bit. All right. And this is symbolic language, right? That I just showed you here on this particular picture over there, right? And the language operates on the deepest level of the psychic, tapping into what Carl Jung identified as the collective unconscious. And if you think about it, it's shared by all of us. It's a reservoir of the primordial images and archetypes that the structure of human experience, you, me, and everybody. And Carl Jung saw these archetypes as living psychic forces that demand to be taken freaking seriously. So when you talk about this shadow in some people, you better believe it's real. And the thing about it is, everybody has it. You, I, we all have shadows of all types of archetypes, and that is embedded because we were created as this species. We all have it. This is why in the dream world, you can get somebody over here on this side of the world and somebody on this side of the world who never met can paint the same thing. And you'd be like, what? Are they ancestrally connected? No, we're connected in this infinite consciousness awareness. But on the outside, where we are in this holographic reality that they got us in, this movie of Hollywood, we're separate in so many ways. But if we ever figure it out, that we can come together in the mind, which is how they heal people back in the day, how they move rocks and things. They just closed, I'm assuming they just moved it with their mind. And this is what they don't want us to figure out today. But don't worry about it. You follow my channel, you see what Billy puts out. I'm going deeper, more into the reptilian side of things, and I'm going really deep. In fact, I'm going so deep that it is now saying it's time for help. The reptilian rule, I need you to support this mission of exposing the truth. I put this image up for a reason, people. It is time. You remember I had a hotline. I'm getting emails, but here's what I need right now. And I'll continue. Just let me know. But I need some very, very serious, social media searchers and people. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to search Twitter, Reddit, X, Facebook, Instagram. And there's my email address. Screenshot this right now. contact@wildabigSecret.com. Please screenshot this right now. All right, because I don't have that email address anywhere else for you. Screenshot it right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so listen, I need help. When you going through your feed and you see some stuff about somebody saying that they saw this thing, let's not ignore them anymore. Now, I don't need a repost because that doesn't get me to the source. But if it's the actual person posting it on Reddit, or if it's the actual person posting it on Facebook, X, whatever, and please email me the links or whatever. And if you are so good that you can make contact with them and then they can get on us and share their stories and let them know we got an audience for this, I will give you credit as one of the people. But we need a collective psychic. If they can connect to our conscious psychic uncollective and control, we can do this together in mind and we can find the truth. Or not so much the truth anymore. We're now going to look for the evidence because the truth has been there. But anyway, so let me get back, but I'll put it up real quickly. Screenshot this. That's my email address, wildabigSecret.com. Email me. Become part of this reptilian search, this mission to expose the truth. And so hopefully that you all decide to get with that, yeah. So I'm just saying, let's continue. All right. So of all of these images that we were just talking about, the most potent embellishment one is the serpent or dragon. And let me put this image back up so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So the serpent or dragon, this one right here is probably the one that's out there the most. And you will see this pretty much everywhere you look. We're talking across foundational myth. This creature is both the healer and the destroyer. You remember that, right? You got to, most of you can get hit in the head with a brick right now. Boom. Be bleeding. And you look over there and you just got blood in one eye and you see this emblem with this big M and it's yellow. You're like, I know what that is. And then you see another one with these two snakes and the caduceus is what they call it. I guarantee you run over there, you don't even know what it is. You're just going to run because that, whatever it is, tell me there's knowledge, there's healing, and there's going to save my life seeing those two snakes on that stick on that particular building over there. And not even a word needs to be said. Not even a 911 call need to be made because you will make it over there yourself. Now we can talk about the Umbros, right? The tail eater representing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. It is the guardian of the treasures and the bringer of wisdom. This duality is the essential to power. You know that, right? But in the hands of a Hollywood narrative, the architects, this complexity is systematically stripped away. The serpent is presented almost exclusively in its dark aspect, right? The cold-blooded, deceptive invader, the alien overlord, devouring monster from the abyss, always. This is a symbolic key to understanding the reptilian agenda. The consistent calculated inversions of sacred archetypes into a tool of psychological warfare, preparing the human mind for the Pacific model of the reptilian rule. I've said it, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. We talk about it all the time. All the time. We make sure that you understand this, right? And so take a look at this particular image. You've probably seen it in some of the shows. I spent years tracking these patterns, and frankly, the audacity of what it is, what gets to me now, right? And when we see stuff like this, it's a mocking confession hidden in plain sight. I look at these ancient accounts of the Sumerian tablets that they was talking about, right? You got to remember that, right? The Sumerian tablets, describing the Anunnaki. And you already know I got a grammar box right over here to the left and an unlimited spelling box over here to the right. If I mispronounce anything or butcher it, whatever, go to the grammar box, get it corrected for yourself or your consciousness. And however, you may not even need the grammar box because if you already knew I messed it up, but you understood me anyway, then your consciousness is working properly. If you can look at a misspelled word and it corrects itself, then you are divine. You are a divine human specimen. But if you got to go correct me, oh, he said this wrong. Oh, bye, I can't believe how you pronounce that. Then that's an ego thing. That's the reptilian stuff, okay? But I know that most of you are operating in the divine light that you are. So anyway, the Sumerian tablets describing the Anunnaki, those who came from heaven to earth, came there into breeding with humanity to create a hybrid bloodline and see the exact blueprint of the modern Draconia reptilian narrative. You see that? You hear that, right? The ancient legends are filled with serpent race. This is the theme, right? It's the theme, a theme so prevalent that it is baffling how it can be ignored. I don't get how anybody ignores this as something, snake about or reptilian about our past. I don't know how they do it. I have no clue. I have no clue how they do it. Even if they went to church and the apple was bitten, and you're talking about the Garden of Eden, and I don't know if it was Cain, Abel, or whatever that told God and said, "Hey, please don't send me out. They're going to hurt me." And God says, "No, I'm going to put the mark on you," and they're not going to. Now, I don't know, but somehow, some reason, biting that apple or whatever that serpent said was for wisdom or not, supposedly be the story of the downfall of all of this situation. As the old folks would say, it's a situation. But anyway, when I watch the blockbuster film and I see the same story, the same symbolism played out in entertainment, they do it all the time. They're inverting, like I said, the sacred quest. That hero's journey, as Campbell described it, is supposed to be the path to self-discovery and renewal. But Hollywood, again, version is a trap. They call to adventure. It is the lure of the screen, pulling you and me out of real life into their simulation. The mentor in these movies, or however they want to put it, offers you the talisman, right? The lightsaber, a red pill, okay? And this isn't not about guide you to enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? That talisman, the lightsaber, the red pill, he is the gatekeeper. And remember that. He's the gatekeeper for the system. A handler initiating you into the control of reality, and the final reward is not the elix. It's how they restore the world. It's your passive acceptance of the reptilian rule. And again, I see the serpent of Eden at play here. I just was saying that. The ultimate trickster of offering knowledge, right? It was a trick. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. It was a trick. The trickster, the archetype of the trickster, offering knowledge that leads to not awakening, but to a deep slumber within the matrix. Holy cow. I can pause right there. We ain't even talking about church. You know what I'm saying? I can pause right there. I can tell you right now, turn to the book, stand up right now and look at your neighbor and look to the right and look to the left and say, boy, he's saying some stuff tonight. We can do it that way if it helps, if it makes you feel comfortable. Because again, it's a poison disguised as popcorn entertainment. And sometimes my stomach churns every time I see another soul consuming it this way. I don't know why. Maybe it's just personal. Maybe it's just personal when we get to this. So take a look at this image, okay? Take a look at it and all the other stuff. And you see the pattern everywhere, don't we? It's not just in movies. Once you recognize the signature of the reptilian agenda, you see the coiling through the very code of our digital world. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. We match how these identities. So anyway, when you start watching social media, the algorithms, you got to think about it. Some people think it's harmless, right? It functions like an invisible, intelligent serpent, promising connection while delivering only division and chaos. Oh, it's connecting you, but imagine some of the stuff it connects you to. Sometimes you can't even stop what comes in your feed. And you better not, sometimes you gotta, I even do it. You scroll and you see something, but you don't want more of it, but you're interested. So you scroll up and then I'll scroll back down, but you don't stop. Because if you stop for a millisecond, they got you. So you just scroll and then you read, you scroll, you read another word, you scroll and you read another word. That's how I do it, man, because as soon as you stop, they got you. Oh, yeah, we're going to send in more of that. And we see how they amplify outrage, turning communities into war tribes. They just did it a few weeks ago. A perfect strategy for a force that, according to the Gnostic lore, feeds on inhuman or the emotions of turmoil. The Loosh, right? We're a Loosh form. Morpheus said it so correctly in the movie of The Matrix. Remember, he held the thing up and he said to Neo, this battery is what they're making us to be. We're batteries. Y'all remember, right? You watched it. I watched it. All right. So, all right. We've all shared the clips or, that celebrity glitches. You did that on social media. These fleeting moments in high definition where the mask slips and something cold or inhuman glares out from behind the human eyes, or we see the slits or the tongues, or you see the mistakes. They're doing it right there. And sometimes, we asked, are these artifacts of digital compression, or are they glimpses of the shapeshifters that Ike and others and people like myself have been talking about it for quite some time. We see all the serpentine logos out there, the power of corporations, many in the fields of communication and medicine. And we notice the caduceus of Hermes and the symbol of commerce and the trickery with the two-headed serpent that has the single serpent rod of Asclepius, right? If I pronounce that right, the true emblem of healing. And this is the agenda in the miniature, replacing the authentic with a deceptive commercialized copy. And together, we are decoding this matrix, and we're seeing how the endless news cycle is designed to exhaust our spirit, and how those lizard people that are in power use media to frame truth seekers as freaking lunatics. Right now, I expect somebody to pop in here who never been in here and so, oh, this guy's crazy talking about these people. But yet, all of the artifacts, the one with the lizard breastfeeding the baby, the stories, all of the stuff that we hear. And yet that person, I guarantee you, is going to tell you they believe in Santa Claus, right? They believe in Santa Claus. Now, again, we're not alone in this awareness of our shared clarity and fire that they cannot extinguish people. They just can't do it. They have a problem with that. They have always had with the truth seekers and the problem. They always have. So when you think about little stuff like this, right? And this little image just kind of give you, you feel it when you scroll, the subtle drain of your life and force, and you're chasing empowerment through memes by the algorithms, the digital agents of the reptilian agenda. All right. Just as Jessica was just saying here, that these people, they know what they're doing. They're the digital agents of the reptilian. They harvest your outrage for energy. They want to keep you upset. You binge watch the latest alien invasion series, and then you see those cold, unblinking eyes staring back right at the screen, and you be like, all right. And some ancient part of your brain be like, the R complex, the reptilian brain recognize them, right? That you recognize, or what you recognize, is it terrifying? The recognition, does it terrifies you? So you can call it entertainment. This is why. So the key is you can keep looking at it, but don't let it scare you. You got to look at it to identify, but don't let it like, oh, whatever. Just be like, Again, this is why I need help. I'm begging for it right now. I know there's more of you out there that watch some of this stuff on social media. You see the clips, you're in some of the chat rooms or whatever. I don't have to be up here by myself doing this. Some of you may have something to say. You may even come on air. But first of all, we need a legion, and I'm going to use their words. We need a legion of researchers and people seeing this stuff out here and ganging up on, check this out, so we can spread it. Why not? Why not? And so once again, I'll put my email address. Clip this real quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Screenshot this for later, okay? And just email me. Email me, please. Just don't email. If you look on that thing and you see it's somebody else sharing it, then we don't have the source. We can't go there. We need the source, because eventually I want to contact these people, or you can reach out to them and then say, hey, this guy named Roderick, we and him are working together. We're looking for the truth, and he would love to talk with you, right? You can do that. But anyway, when you start looking at all this conflict out there they have, it tears at you at once. So just be at once and just be careful. The comfort of the lie versus the horror of the truth. That's what I want you to know. So face it. You're at war for your own mind, and the screen is the battlefield. Okay. I just want you to know that and definitely understand that. Right. And so as I put some of these images just to kind of carry our story, ultimately the analysis of these patterns revealed a chilling consistency. See, the reptilian motif, as curated by Hollywood, is a monolithic symbol of control. It draws the power of fundamental myth, chaos, dragon, and the viral Leviathan that strips away the regenerative aspect presented only as the shadow. So as you look at this particular image, the key feature of the agenda is to sever humanity from its own archetypal roots, to cut off from the world tree. I'll put it back up. They try to dim that energy of the tree and turn it into something else. And they're very good at this. They are very good at this. The cosmic axis that connect us to the divine and to trap us in a purely material reality defined by them. Now, the goal is to establish a psychic environment where their rule is not accepted but seems inevitable. And we talk about a world that only God's worship are the ones projected onto a silver screen. Okay? You think about it. The analysis is compelling, and the pattern, if you think about it, is established. So now we, us, you, enter the hall of mirrors, right? In any true initiation, the most dangerous deception is not the one that comes from the enemy, but the one that comes from within the self. In the self. So with that being said, I'm sorry we have to do this, but as you know, we have our meet and greet in Dallas. We had a great turnout this past month, and we're doing another one coming up soon. In the description of this video is a text number, 888, whatever. You go on there, look on the description of the video, text your number or the word meet up to the number, and it'll put you on the list, and you want to come. Someday Billy is going to come down, Brother Yosef. But anyway, I'm going to Houston to Brother Yosef event. But we're so fortunate that we have these sponsors that sponsor our event. Their link is in the description. And just as you see the droplets here, the monatomic gold, this is with the blue. All right. And there you go. And check it out. Check out the website link in the video. Go take a look at some of those products. And is Noble Metals. They're one of our sponsors of our events. And we're so pleased to have them. We have Fresh Mouth. Check them out too. There's a link in there on our description. You talk about nano silver toothpaste. You're already seeing some of the stuff they're talking about, what's out there. But hey, try it. I use it. It's got elderberry. They got mint. But nano silver, and they got great water bottles, hydrogen water bottles, and they support us. And last but not least, we have the greatness of Phoenix Fire. Now, I talk about her products, her soaps, and everything else. And, go to our website, Phoenix Fire Juju, and get you some protection from these reptilians, protection oil, the bath salts and all those things. So definitely go check that out and thank our sponsors and stuff, man, to help us. Otherwise, we couldn't do what we're doing. We don't get money from the system. They block us, or they do stuff. I had somebody recently the other day, what is this, a promotional show? And they come in for free information. And then they expect for me to say, okay, I'm going to give you everything I got in my life here. But yet their whole lives is built on buying something from somebody's promotion. I don't care what it is, iPhone to the very era that we're breathing. And in a minute we say support us so that we can we're outnumbered financially for the truth anyway. We're outnumbered. That's why people don't get it when we say, okay, support it. Or in my description, yeah, I have my Cash App there because I'm a community funded show. The more resources we got, the people we can bring on here and do stuff that they don't want to do. But they got the very good thing to stample us out. And that is to make sure that we can afford to tell you the truth. And yet, we don't need a lot of us to come together to get it out. We just need the right ones to come together to begin that process. All right. So anyway, take a look at this image right here. Take a look at this image right here as we continue to go down the rabbit hole. Now, but just as the serpent ancient myth sheds its skin to reveal a new form, so do those narratives of the reptilian agenda twist upon itself. All right, so I want you to think about it. Think about it. A critical question emerges from the shadows of certainty. What if the constant parade of reptilian imagery is not a program of acclamation, but a far more sophisticated psychological operation, a psyops? Why wouldn't you think they wouldn't do it? They've been doing it all the time. What if the goal is not to prepare us for the arrival of shapeshifters, because I believe they're already here anyway, but to strategically muddy the waters, to poison what I call the well of inquiry with obscurity, to make people like me be crazy or seem nuts or whatever. People like David Icke and all these other people who sees them, and you, some of y'all seen these things. You've seen the glitches, and you be like, what was that? But you're not crazy. You are not crazy. You may be around some crazy people thinking you crazy. It does work like that. You know that, right? You could be around crazy people who call you crazy. And because you're around so many crazy people, it makes you feel crazy. You get what I'm saying? Golly, I just took that off the top. Boy, you just talking creativity right there. Being around crazy people to make you feel crazy because they all are crazy. So it's just the opposite. You go, boy. You go, boy. Y'all know it, because we're going to do I love you at the end of this show. Y'all know that anyway, right? But anyway, consider the mockery or the mocking that they do, transparency of it all. See, films explicitly depict that lizard people controlling the world governments are presented as comedies, right? Sci-fi series revived the classic reptilian antagonist presenting the conspiracy so openly that it becomes laughable. The archetype, the serpent that Carl Jung talks about, observed, is inherently dualistic. Like I said before, it's the symbol of both poison and medicine, deception and wisdom, right off the bat. But by saturating the image within their media images that we see, then the archetypes of the reptilian rules may be exploiting these very ambiguity. They do that. And this is the reversal, the possibility that we're not witnessing a slow reveal, but a carefully managed deception designed to make genuine truth seekers appear ridiculous. And their one is lost in sea of pop culture noise. People like myself or my channel. And like I said, if you like what I'm doing tonight, know, and let me say this out loud, because I don't think a lot of people get this. This is the Forbidden Knowledge Network, Billy Carson's podcast network. I'm part of his team. Okay. I have a personal channel that I do a show just like last night live, and we go deep and we do almost in a 2-part fashion. So if you go, you'll kind of hear some of the things, but we go into a little fashion. But I have my own channel, Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority, right here, screenshot it. And you can go and you can hear a lot more. You may come here and you hear a few things about reptilians, because I do maybe some on Tuesday night. But if you all in, and maybe you want to hear some guests, like we had a guy who was talking about the Jacksons. His father played in the band of the Shylights and how they were reptilian beings. And this is what he said allegedly, and saw them eating rats. Go look for the interview on my channel. You will not believe it. But because we into this stuff, we listen. We listen. We really listen. And so one of the things to look at is this particular image, right? I want you to kind of look at this. See, for years, this is kind of give you a depiction of myself. I've been mapping out this, connecting the dots with a burning certainty in my gut. Every reptilian villain, every subliminal flash of scaled eyes felt like another piece of the puzzle, another confirmation of their cold-blooded agenda. That'll be just my photograph. But then the thought struck me. And it felt like a venomous bite. I was like, damn, something just bit me. What if I'm seeing exactly what they want me to see? What if that's the plan? What if I'm not an investigator, but just another rat in meticulously designed maze that they're made? See, this conflict, when I start seeing other stuff and going deeper, was like splitting things up. Because my audience will tell you, the ones who are on my show, I steered away from some of the religious side of this thing because I didn't want to. Two things I knew: politics and religion would divide an audience. I knew this. And then David Icke spoke, and one time, and he was like, "Hey, you can't be a truth seeker if you're not going all the way." So one moment, I felt the righteous fury of the truth teller exposing these shapeshifters. See, the next, he's like, all right, you're paralyzed by the fear that I'm just a useful tool. Oh, nobody's gonna, they're not supporting it. You can't even go fly to go see somebody at the time. who call you up and say, hey, I got something to show you, but I need to show you in person. You can bring your cameras, but I can't. And I'm like, man, we need to go there. Well, that was what the days in the past was like that, man. It was serious, right? But I'm just a useful tool, right, for them, amplifying the narrative. They created to discredit the entire movement, right? It's like, all right, you're being led down this false thing, this hero's journey, baited with just enough to keep me chasing a decoy, while the real reptilians remains completely unseen, operating on a level I haven't even conceived yet back then. See, you start thinking about the trickster archetype, a figure of Jung's describes as a master of mockery and reversal, seems to be at play here when I was going through this, not in the films, but in the very investigations at the time. And so I was like, all right, my certainty has become the prison. I have to ask myself, is this a righteous quest, Roderick? Just not another form of inflation, an identification with the archetype that has blinded me from the real truth. So I'm like, all right, we're getting ready to kick this in some gear. We're going to kick it in gear. And so, again, you think about it, all the social media stuff here, right? And I'm like, and you start seeing the different posts, and people are having experiences. Now, we built this movement together, sharing our findings everywhere, supporting each other as we decode the media's poison. That's the whole deal. We have recognized how Hollywood Reptilian Agenda promised escapism, but delivers enslavement. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we must face the reversal as a community, okay? That's all I've been wanting to say in this monologue tonight. And as our theories about the draconian reptilians gain traction online now, as I showed you the picture there, amplified by the very algorithms that we suspect, we must ask the hard questions. Are we driving the awakening, or are we being herded into a digital pen of control opposition? Whew, you go, boy. What a discovery. See, the emotional storm rages within our community. The solidarity that we feel in our shared visions clashes with the corrosive doubt that this so-called disclosure they've been talking about is just another more subtle way, a secret layer of control. I've said it millions of times. The game of disclosure will never go away. It will never go away. They just change the rules. And then the rules evolve. We got to read the rule book. And what if this whole entire conspiracy theory, the landscape, is a release valve designed to capture and neutralize dissent? What if they allow us to see lizard people in fiction? As you said, we talking about Hollywood. So we never recognize the true nature of their power in reality. You get what I'm saying now? So it's like we got to reverse how we're looking at this as a collective now. This is their most dangerous trick here, is to invert our rebellion into a self-contained feedback loop, kind of like the umbrus of outrage that ultimately feeds very system that it seeks to expose. We thought we were the resistance, right? If you go, I got these rebellion shirts, but what if we're just another part of the spectacle? So I got a plan. Yeah, I got a plan. I got a plan. Of course we do. Because the gig is up. We're not going for that stuff anymore. The gig is up, people. And I think it's something that we as a unit together. So you thought you had it figured out, right? Didn't we? I thought so. And you saw the reptilian clues. You recognized the shapeshifters. You felt the thrill of being one of the few who could see the pattern, because that's how I was, right? But feel the twist in your gut now. That cold dread of uncertainty, right? Is the media frenzy a true call to adventure, or is it an inverted quest, a threshold, the guardian of the mind, designed to trap you in a labyrinth of mirrors? Your soul is caught between comfort of belief and the terror of betrayal, screaming for clarity in a storm of calculated chaos. That's poetry, by the way. This is the ultimate test. The reversal demands you to choose. Will you cling to the truth that might be a lie, or will you dare to question everything? Question every damn thing. I just want you to know, even your own awakening, people, you have to question everything these days. And I do mean everything. So take a look at this. It's just kind of a depiction of the conversation. This turn right here reveals the true psychological complexity of the agenda. That's how confusing and crazy they want us to look. But the serpent archetype, by its nature, is paradoxical. It's right in the middle of everything. It's the middle of everything that we read, see. By saturating the media with their images, hidden controllers, whether it's real, imagined, they have created the perfect narrative. They have created the perfect narrative on us. Belief and ridicule has become indistinguishable. You can't even tell the difference between those two. This strategic ambiguity prevents a simple conclusion, forcing any serious investigator to abandon the black and white thinking of comfort as a far more terrifying possibility. That we're not just fighting an invisible, visible enemy, but the very nature of perception itself. See, the reversal is complete. The ground beneath and certainly has crumbled, leaving us in the state of profound ambiguity, or whatever the word, ambiguity. There we go. You got the grammar box, though. And this is not the end of the inquiry, though. It's the true beginning. To escape the labyrinth of the mirrors, we all know about the mirrors, we must look away from the reflections to ask, what is the source of light that casts these freaking shadows? Yes, there's a light. We have to look at that. We have to understand that. And let me give you some details. Definitely focus on this one, okay? Some of you should recognize that cube. You should recognize the Saturn cube. When you pull back from the dizzy chaos of conspiracy and counter-conspiracy, the Hollywood narrative revealed its true freaking nature. It's not merely a political or social manipulation, but a profound metaphysical drama playing on a global scale. The flickering screen with its endless loop of manufactured reality that you're seeing there has become the modern face of the black cube of Saturn. The ancient archetypal symbol of material reality, limitation, and the containment of consciousness. This is what it is. In each film, each freaking series, each viral clip featuring those lizard people is a ritual, okay, that reinforces the wall of psychic prisons, convincing the soul, which is what they're after, that the world surfaces in shadows is all that exists. Now, yeah, we want to integrate those shadows. So the ultimate moral of the story, therefore, is not about them, but it's about us. In this language of archetypal psychology, this movie cinematic draconian reptilian is a projection of humanity's own collective shadow. See, the sum of our unacknowledged darkness, our cold-blooded survival instinct, our primal fears, our lust for power, and to cast outward onto convenient and a non-human scapegoat people. Hollywood then becomes the temple where we unknowingly worship our own disowned demons these days. This reptilian agenda is not just an invasion from without, it's an eruption from within. And this is where we're going to get them. We're going to get them. We're going to get them. So just think about it. When I was looking at it, you know, I saw them. I saw the shapeshifters and every corner and every corridor of power. But the reversal forced me to take a look inward at what I found was more terrifying than any monster on the screen. This is me, you looking at yourself sometimes. It's yourself. You begin to look at that. And I know sometimes it's going to rattle a few people, and I'm not saying they don't exist, but they tap into that to create monsters within ourselves. You get what I'm saying? See the cold calculating logic despising the reptilian archetype, right? So I saw it in my own obsessed drive of certainty, right? It's like they're activating that. And I know a lot of people won't get it. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it, but you have to understand it's real. You have to understand. And I would say that the predatory instinct that will dominate through knowledge, it was my own shadows, people, reflecting back at me when I started looking at this. I was so busy fighting the dragon, I never realized I was feeding that bad boy. So I'm like, all right, let's integrate this shadow. let's integrate this thing. It don't control me. Let me control it. It's there. I can't do nothing about it, but let's use it. Let's draw the power from it because they're activating it and controlling it. This is how they're getting us to do. See, this is the truth, the soul shattering takeaway. The reptilian agenda thrives because it's feeding a part of ourselves we refuse to own. I'll say that again. That's what I realized. If you don't own it, it is a little different. The journey is not about hunting monsters anymore. It's about confronting the monster within myself sometimes and integrating that primal, cold-blooded part of my own psychic, right? And this is what I call the great alchemy work that Jung called individuation, to face the shadow, not as an enemy, but as a lost part of yourself. And in doing so, to become whole. And then the real quest is not exposing the shapeshifters, but to stop projecting them. Down you get it. Because long as you can project them, because they're in that other dimension, that's where they're playing at. And there's a lot of people seeing some stuff these days, they don't even believe it. Oh, I can't believe what I just saw. Okay, then. I can't believe what I just saw. Oh, I can't believe that. I'm telling you, it's a game, and we can play it, this holographic game. So when you think about it, as you begin to put yourself in this picture right here, we have to understand what is truly at stake here. The reptilian rule is a form of a psychic vampirism, a cosmic harvesting of energy. That's what they're doing. So someone asks, oh, I need more proof. Then your mind is not where it needs to be yet. Because as long as they can block it through all this food and all of this stuff, it's crazy. As long as they can block it, we are not going to see it. You're going to look for physical proof. You want to see, but yet you breathe in air and you can't even see it. You believe in Santa Claus when we was kids and we didn't see it. We believe that we've been watched every night, but we don't see who's doing it. But yet, when it becomes where the eyes are useless, when the mind is blind, we need to see it. And it's okay. I'm not saying it against you. I get it, because we all was there. But take it to your mind and let your mind control your mind and command it to show you the truth and see what happens. It'll get a little scary. See, when you think about the Gnostic archons of old, they have constructed a reality, a Hollywood view matrix that generates fear, division, and mindless desire. So the very energies upon which they feed from, loose, they're doing our energy. And this is the symbolic meaning behind the myth of the draconian reptilians needed to consume human energy or blood, don't we know that, to maintain their form. We're not just passive viewers. We are the power source. We are the freaking power source. So every time we engage in their manufactured outrage, every time we surrender our critical thoughts for the curated illusions, we are fueling the machine that ensures our own enslavement. See, the great metaphysical challenge for us as a collective is to starve them. We must reclaim the divine, creative consciousness from the parasitic shapeshifters by refusing to participate in their emotional economy. Our unity, us, our compassion, our conscious creation of different reality is the one energy that the agenda cannot process. And it's the one frequency they can't co-op. They just can't do it. You get what I'm saying? This is why when I say I love you, right? So the key to it is you stand now at the metaphysical crossroads and you continue to see the reptilian as the enemy out there, of course, as a monster on the screen. In doing so, we remain the battery for their world. Your life force is drained by the spectacle you mistake for reality. This is what I just said to the guy here. Because you want the proof. And you mistake, you want to see reality, but they're draining it from a whole nother way. Or, like I said, you can accept the terrible and liberating truth. The face of the lizard people is a mirror. It's a mirror. And you must now undertake the most difficult quest of them all. The true hero's journey is not just to slay the dragon people, but to embrace it as your own. This is why symbols and symbolism is so important that people ignore. This is why you can draw off the power, the esoteric knowledge or secret cult. Cult is just hidden. That's all the meaning of a cult. You can be an occultist, just like some of us are. We dig into those things. We start learning to understand the power of sigils and all of these things. And you have to, because we're in that world. But I do understand. I was just telling my brother today, ignorance is bliss. And maybe I get the term now, because sometimes life could have been better what you didn't know. It's like that Matrix. Old boy is like, put me back in. if Morpheus, you had told me about this, the food that we eating, if the truth was this, I'll take the lie. And sometimes that is what goes on. Sometimes that is what goes on, to take the lie. So to reclaim your power and to, as I will put up this image right here again, to shatter the black cube material illusion from inside out. Your soul did not come here again to be a participator or spectator. Your soul didn't come here for that in the theater. It came to be the alchemist in its own laboratory. That's what your soul came here to do. And so again, if you think I'm playing, that's okay. If you want to go back tomorrow and say, okay, let them catch you sleeping. Literally. Let them catch you sleeping. Let them attach to, let me give you an image right here. Let them attach to that solar plex right there. And you wonder who's guiding who. You go ahead and do that. You let them attach to that solar plex if that's what you want them to do. Or you can stick around to some of us who may be the most insidious, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, Roderick's Truth versus Authority. Or you can join the inside of what we're doing. And like I said, I got something so special. And hopefully in about 2 weeks, I'll bring it on screen and show you. And it's never been done before, but it was me to do it. It was me to do it, and everything else. And so as we come to where we are, ultimately, the persistent image of the reptilian in Hollywood, as we background loop, is a cosmic test, people. It's the system, or I would say symptoms, of a profound spiritual imbalance in the modern world. A world that has projected its shadow, I'm going to use that word again, so far outward that it now threatens to devour its creator. See, the shapeshifters on the screen are a sacred warning and or of an invitation to the most dangerous and necessary journey, the integration of our own darkness. People don't want to go there. Some people confuse it. Oh, you got to do some shadow work, and you think you got to go kill something. No, you don't do that. Integrate it, learn it, use it. For it's only by owning the inner reptilian that we can become immune to the outer one, people. And in doing so, finally change the channel. You got a reptilian brain. It's in your DNA. You can't get away from it. I don't care what you're talking about. If you here in this particular meat suit, I ain't say your soul. We're talking about if you are occupying the meat suit that you got on right now, you got some DNA, some reptilian DNA there, unless you're an alien. And you could be an alien watching, okay? And if you want to claim that you're an alien, you do. You got a reptilian brain. You got some DNA. It's in the Bible. Go trace your bloodline, black, trace all of it back. And yes, this is a fitting and powerful sublimation, okay? We have faced the abyss of uncertainty and can emerge with a deeper, more challenging truth here. The journey ends not with a simple answer, but with a sacred task. And I'm glad you asked. What's that task, Roderick? So as I come to a close of this monologue, and then we're going to just get some thought-provoking questions there. So we'll be here about another 45 minutes if y'all want to, or I can end it after what I get ready to say here. You can tell me. I'll look in the chat in a minute, say, do we end or do we continue? But anyway, we have journeyed together through the looking glass of Hollywood, through what I consider the flickering shadows of the reptilian agenda. We're moved past the surface level fiction to decode what I call the symbolic warfare by or being waged for our consciousness is what they're after. And now we can see Hollywood machine for what it is, a vast apparatus designed to manage our perception of reality, to contain our spirit with the material world. And we've seen the ancient dualistic serpent archetype that has been weaponized, its image to use and acclimate us to a cold-blooded authority. And we have faced the reversal, the terrifying possibility that our awakening itself must be part of a plan of these shapeshifters. And finally, we arrive to what I call the metaphysical truth of the reptilian rule is not just a conspiracy of draconian reptilian from the stars, but a projection of the primordial shadow of humanity itself. And we're not just the victims of their agenda, we are its unwilling co-creators. And this knowledge is not to defeat, it's the true beginning of our true collective power. So don't turn away from it. Do not smash your screen in fit of righteous rage or something. This is what the victim does. This is what they expect. They expect for you to say some crazy stuff. Instead, I challenge you to do something far more radical. Keep watching them, but watch with new eyes. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Watch as the warrior studies a map of the battlefield. Watch as the shaman stares into the fire to see what is coming. This is the big why. You must keep watching them because they are showing you everything you need to know about the enemy. And the enemy is you, right? The reptilian, the shapeshifter, those lizard people on the screen. And this is the face of the unintegrated human shadow, people. It is the cold predatory instinct of your comfortability being, or your morality, I could say, pretends that it isn't there. It's the lust for control that you are taught to condemn in others, but never confront in yourself. It is the part of you that thrives in the dark. Hollywood is hubris and has given you what I call the greatest tool of imaginable things for your own liberation, a perfect high definition reflection of your own darkness. This is why we see this stuff. So keep watching. Watch until the fear is gone, is what I'm saying. Replaced by a cold, sharp clarity. Watch until the face of every reptilian invader becomes a mirror for your own soul. And you're, basically your task not to fight the shadows on the wall of the cave. Your task is the true hero's journey, is to turn inward and integrate the source of those shadows. And I mean this. So the ultimate inversion, the final secret is this. Their weapon of mass deception can become your personal instrument of mass awakening. And there's a broadcasting, and they've been doing this, their script for the future of humanity, people. And it's your time, and it's our time, and it's time you started writing your own. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I say, I love you. This is where I want you to say you love everyone. I love y'all, in the chat. Now I do have some dialogue, some questions, some things, some what ifs. I got plenty, and it'll take us to another hour. But you might have already heard enough. You might already heard enough. But if you want me to continue and you like where we're going, then let's do so. But let me know. I will continue if you say so, if you want me to keep going. I have a lot we can go into. I have my notes right here now. I can look down at them. But in the meantime, let's love some folks. You know what I'm saying? And see how that works. And but like I said, I can continue. Some of you may be tired or sleepy. You get what I'm saying? You may be sleepy, you may be tired, you may be like, you know what I'm saying? Because I can talk. They used to say I got the gift of gab, but I can talk. So I love you. We have love and one another. Reptilian hate. Yeah. All right then. All right. So a few keep going. All right. So let's keep going then. We'll go. And each time I'll check. Where I'm going with this is the entire game changed for me. The very foundation of this fight, the moment I understood the so-called reptilian agenda, is not an external war against the draconian or reptilians, but it's the projecting of our own acknowledged shadow, right? And the inner lizard people that we refuse to face. Because if we all part of these reptilians and we got it in us because it's in our DNA, go back. You can't stop it. I mean, there's people right now, if you go look, are born with tails. They do. I'm not saying, in their faces, but because the DNA is still there, the triggers are still there. And this truth is the key of dismantling their whole thing. You get what I'm saying? And so we have to think about that. So, when I unmask the truth behind our obsession with the fictional shapeshifters, but yet I believe, and when I say fictional is the ones that they're showing us on the TV. They're real. They're here. You get what I'm saying, right? They just try to show us what they think we should be seeing so that we be like, it's just a movie. While they're doing this other stuff right there, right in front of us, right? It's crazy. And then we got to think about it. So we have to understand that we're not going to go for this phantom stuff. We're going to look for the real stuff. And this is why somebody said my cousin has webbed feet. Okay. All right. So again, this is why I need your help. I need people to join the search. I need you to write down this email address, screenshot it or whatever, on your mobiles or whatever, contact@wildthebigsecret.com. This is where I need to hear from some of you, links and stuff on social media. Anytime they see a saw or have some reptilian shapeshifter type stuff, we need to know about it. And remember, don't just email me a link and you look into the top. You'll see if the person sharing it, they're on the screen with their face and saying, look at you're sharing somebody else's content. We need the person in the original content. Send the original content. Find out who and where that came from. And I bet you if we get 10, 30, 40, 100 people doing this, we will be invincible. We'll start having these people on the show. We'll start interviewing them. We will be invincible. We got to work together. Okay. Otherwise, I can say, all right, I can run some ads, but then I would have to put my Cash App up. Then people are, oh, now you're asking for money. So let's just do time. Time is the one of the, even though it's expensive, is what people have. If you got time to help, you can help. Okay. As much as we could use your support, go to the website, buy something, get something back, whatever. Right. Oh, y'all see what just happened right there? I was like, oh, it failed, but it's my fault. I should have known it was going to fall. I seen it right here tipping over. But maybe that's that my sign to be quiet too. Because, I can go all spiritual about, oh my God, that was a spirit there. But anyway, the real battleground is the core tension. It's not a fight against some of the cabal of shapeshifter or the lizard people. It's the war within everybody's human soul, right? The fight to integrate our own draconian reptilians versus the subductive impulse to project them. See, all right, let me say it like this. It's going to throw it for a loop. The reason they can control us is because they know how to control their own. Why? Because let's make man in our image and the likeness of ourselves. Less these giants and hybrids and everything else. See, they know the playbook. They're our DNA has been altered a bunch by a lot of people. They know the playbook. That's all I'm saying. They know the playbook, people, is all I'm trying to say. And so we need to learn that it exists and stop hiding it. That's the problem. See, when people are like, oh, I don't have that, look into it. And once you see it, then you can harness the power that they're controlling us with. That's what they don't want us to do, is to see it. And they hide from it. They hide it from us. And this isn't a psychological game. It's a direct assault on our sovereignty. I see us willingly surrendering control of our own consciousness to the reptilian agenda every time we blame an external draconian for the world's evil, because we know we know the proxies are doing it. We already know they got the proxies. That's where the secret society and elites and stuff come from. And they're operating in a whole nother realm or underneath or whatever. And allowing these phantom shapeshifters and the fictional stuff that they're trying to make us think we believe, oh, that's just a joke on TV, justify their own enslavement under a self-inflicted thing. So we need to watch it. So the Gnostic insight that gives us the high ground, and I did say Gnostic, okay, I know. The absolute strategic advantage is knowing that the power of the so-called reptilians is a complete illusion. They can't control us like that. And that's what they don't want us to know. They want us to know. Someone said, so basically we have to integrate the shadow, of the reptilian brain to feed our attention. Yeah, we have to. And we're going to be doing a lot of that on my channel. We're going to be doing a lot of that in my Patreon, because we can't do it on open. We're going to do what I call the Shadows Operators Network. We're going to do that. And I've been working on some stuff, and I've been putting some other stuff up, but there's a link in the description. You know, if you miss a week, you get left behind. These people ain't playing. I guarantee you, when the time comes, I'll show you this and I'll say something and you'll be like, damn. I'll show you a headline, I'll show you something, and I'll give you the different preserves and the inversion of it, and you'll be like, I didn't even see it that way. Of course not yet. But once you get those eyes, you can't unsee it anymore. So be careful. Be careful coming in our network. Be careful coming in my Patreon, and be careful following stuff on my channel. Okay. Now you're gonna get the forbidden knowledge here from Billy. You're gonna get the conscious knowledge and that. But if you want to get that other stuff so you can see the war, we're gonna fight it, and we're gonna show you how to protect that solar plex, because that's where they're attached to. This is what these people are saying, and we're like puppets. They're behind us and all this stuff. Yeah, that is. So I'm just telling you now, if you want it, come and get it. Plug in. I know some people are like, all right, your Patreon is $26. I'm telling you, it's $26, 83 cents a day. And you spend more money on that getting crazy, taken advantage of. But my goal is to have hundreds of people doing that someday. And now we got the resources to go and get those people who we can fly in, who we can get them to come and tell us some stuff that they wouldn't dare say on the outer world. And we're going to bless them financially. Yes, why not? Because that one thing they tell us collectively changes your life, my life, everybody's life. But we can find them and they will come be part of this. But they're not going to do it out here in public. Why would they? That's why people be like, oh man, you selling this or you. What? You expect the most sacred truth that they've been doing since we were put on this planet, hiding, taking control of your family, your lineage, your ancestors, that they're going to let somebody reveal it out in the open and break that chain? They don't care if 200 people watching us behind a paywall, because that ain't enough to do nothing to them. But if you say it out here in this video gets 1 million views, you can best believe that's life. They're done. They're not doing that. So help your family get connected. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Get connected. And the solar plexus, look it up, Keith, because that's where the sun, the energy, the whole divinity of you is right there. So they can guide you from there. The solar plex energy is powerful chakra there. Okay. It's already yellow. It's the power of the sun. It's where they know to capture you. They're not trying to get up here. They're not trying to get your throat chakra. If they can, and even in football, the coach would tell you that one thing a person can't do when they're trying to shake and juke you, they cannot move the waist. They can move the legs, they can move the upper shoulder, but just follow the waist. And this is where they attach to the solar plexus, right there. And when they get their paws on that, they can do whatever they want with you. And the only way that they can't do it is that we got to raise it where they can't even see you. As long as you stand in this lower area here, they can see you. They see you. But when you get to a point and keep it there, they can't even find you. That's people used to ask me, you worried about it? No. Sometimes, I dip down. They can see me sometimes, and some days they can't find me at all. I'm just not operating. I got my protection malas on, my jades. I wear my protection beads and I meditate on it. But then also I just do some stuff. Now I'm getting better healthy, right? Because I didn't realize that that's part of their agenda is to have certain foods out here that block us from tapping in. All right, I know I'm 50 some years old, and obviously I didn't know. I'm eating good pizza. But now I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm on a journey. And I pray to God, like I said, I'm doing it myself. But, one day, if I'm blessed with that queen, she's going to be like, okay, you're king, but you're going to eat this. Now I'm going to do it myself the best I can and focus on some of the stuff. But the whole point is one person's strengths and another person's weaknesses. But at the end of the day, you can learn to do that. But anyway, that was a whole, I don't even know why I got on that. I shouldn't even done that. But anyway, when I unmasked the true purpose behind what I call the Hollywood Dream Factory, I exposed their end game, right? And which is to use the weapon of mass deception methodically to program our reality. This is what they're doing, ensuring what I would consider unquestionable or, the unquestioned establishment of the reptilian rule by making their very ideal of shapeshifters into popcorn entertainment. This is when I say fictional. I'm not saying they're not real, but they are trying to make it popcorn entertainment. That's the point. You get what I'm saying? And the truth of the reptilian agenda is in plain sight, conditioning us with their films to dismiss the evidence of their draconian reptilian and to last, like I said, absurdity at the lizard people controlling the world because of disbelief is their final shield. Just like we had earlier. Yeah, I got to see it. That's the whole point. That is the whole message of the night. As long as they can make you disbelieve it. And I'm not saying you got to believe everything, but you can go research it yourself. You can go to the next level. My job is to give you enough stuff you can see, you can hear, you can read to awaken your curiosity to the possibility that those lizard people are around us every day. All right, so let me ask the question. I ain't even done this yet. Let's. How many of you right now can think of a time that you saw a glitch, you saw something in a person, something, a little shift, and you was like, nah, I know that I just didn't see what I see. Put it in the chat. Let's put in the chat right now. How many of you seen something? And it could be years ago. It could be whatever. It could be years ago. But how many of you seen something? Let's put it in the chat. Tell me what you think. And pretty much from there. And all right. Amara said me. Can you share just a little bit of it? Just a little bit. I'll put it on the screen. You don't have to just give it all detailed, but just anything. You know what I'm saying? But I know I'm not just speaking to the choir. I want you to tap into that unbelievable part where you're like, I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Tammy said, please tell the truth now. All right, somebody else said, I did. I had an argument with my sister and I felt like she was possessed. Well, don't feel no more, just know. Yeah, you better, you know what I'm saying? Your intuition is your most valuable asset, one of them, Let it be. Yeah, let it be. 1% of the world, 5% are awake, and awake are 94% still sleeping, and 1% don't want the 5% waking up. And that's in our community, Queen Eve. You know what I'm saying? That's in our community because I've said it before. The awake community is probably the dangerous one. I see people that ridicule people because they're not awake, treat them bad because they didn't see something. And it's like we're a program, and I'm using the word we because I've been there and done that. Where we're supposed to not let nobody else in the door. We're not supposed to do our humanly love duty by giving them love. You can't. You when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. You can't force it on somebody, but you can create an environment where they start getting curious, and then it nudges itself on because they all suspicious. They all are. You just got to confirm their suspicion. Yeah. Someone else said I did, but I'm scared to say. I say, silly Billy, is that it? I get it. There's a lot of people. That's why I do my Dallas meetups, so people have a place to share in our environment and they can share it. That's why I do that. Someone else said back in the 90s, when I was 8 years old, I thought I saw a full-size dragon glide through the clouds, and this was in California. And I'm not saying that you didn't, because there are spaceships and stuff around right now, and a lot of people can see them and a lot of people can't, because we're not designed to see it. And the vibration and the reptilians they can be seen. They're just in ships and things that cloak. There's people that see stuff all the time flying around, and you got to know this. Someone says that my bipolar husband was having an episode and his whole face morphed and his eyes went black. Okay. I'm not sure about that one totally, but hey, you saw it, right? Someone says the programs were wiped from my mind. Yeah, I could believe that. I recently parked at a public, and when I got out my car, the one that was in the space, one over, was facing me and now was parallel, and one from the car. The Matrix. You remember how they said deja vu or stuff change? We're in a holographic thing here. This thing is crazy that some of this stuff happens. Guy says, I had 30 years with one. You said, yay. I had 30 years with one like your son-in-law and always angry. So he's talking to someone else. Okay. Yeah. Government aircraft. He said, the bill always come due. Dr. Strange. One chance only, and one chance. Her course something here. I don't know what that. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that once you think about this stuff, I'm sure there's a lot of you who've had, other stuff, right? So again, the entire game, in the moment that I say the tentacles of the reptilian agenda, came beyond the movie screens and in the very code of our digital world. And like I said, we lost the battle of our communities when social media, the algorithms that became our function like a invisible, intelligent serpent. That's what it was doing. And when I saw the celebrity glitches sometimes, the mask of these shapeshifters slip into a fraction of a second. You see it all the time. And the only emotion is righteous anger. Look, I'm going to give you an alleged statement here. You can film this. 70%, allegedly, this is for educational purposes only. Okay. 70% of Hollywood politicians, some of these elites and all this stuff, are reptilians or shapeshifters or have bloodlines tied to them or agents carrying the water. 70%. This is why this all connected. This is why it's important. This is why everything is tracked. Blood is tracked. This is why, some of you are seeing spaceships and different stuff because you're tied into some DNA somewhere. You're not crazy. I don't care what nobody tells you. You're not crazy. This is why autism, these kids, they are very, very intelligent people. They just see the world different. And they can process some stuff that makes it seem, in fact, we slow them down. We think they sometimes seem to not get it. They're looking at us in certain ways saying, I don't even want to talk to your dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? But watch in other areas where that mind works. And they're the most feared ones because they can see the codes. Some of these kids, if some of you know, if you got some autism in your family or something, just watch the genius side of what they do. Don't focus on the other side. I'm just telling you. They know. They know. Yeah, I'm just telling you. We can't talk about some of the former stuff here. That's not going to happen. They are released. They just don't allow you to talk about a lot of that stuff here. Most of the YouTube channels are getting whacked for a lot of that stuff. But anyway, The insight here is that they used what I call the high ground, recognizing their symbols in the open. And we see the serpent logos, their corporations, Caduceus, promising healing, delivering control. And we know they aren't just brands, right? Excuse me. They're the sigils of draconian reptilians marking their territory. They just do it right in plain sight. And everything else. I'm sure this is what failed a while ago when I jumped, but maybe it's because I was supposed to tell y'all. This is, and you've probably seen it on my website, whatever. The Book of Sacred Secrets is a download. Some of you have gotten it. It's been, shared with a few of us. This is on the website. You can download it today. Truth versus Authority. The link is there. You can get you some reptilian shirts. This is going to teach you to activate the third eye. It's going to teach you to see the what's in you, right? What they're trying to hide, the planes of existence. You're going to get the astral projections, and you'll get all of this information. They don't want you to know this, people. It's the Book of Sacred Secrets, and it's on my website, truthversusauthority.com. Download it. You won't be disappointed. Truthversusauthority.com. And like I said, once you see it, you can't see it. You can't unsee it. It's not going to happen like that. And it's just one of those things that, again, they don't want you to understand it. They just don't. Yeah. It's crazy, but those are the things that they want you to do. Anyway, for example, I was going to stay here a little longer, but if you don't mind tonight, there's 200 of you, 300 of you in here. I have my personal channel, and I'm trying to do another 1,000 subscribers. I'll put it on the screen. If you just be so kind, even if you don't want to go watch a video, if you don't want to go watch it, just go over there, Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority, and subscribe to my channel, please, and support it, because we got subscribers. Just go over there and subscribe, and support. We need support. If you watch some of the videos, the more videos you watch, like, comment, then we may get to more views. Then we can get more ad revenue, right? I'm over here as a bigger channel. Still want to grow my personal channel, and I'm going to put a link to my channel in the chat here, and see if I can, if you click on it, you can come right back. You know what I'm saying? We'll finish talking, and just let me know that you subscribed, and I will verbally thank you for your generosity. And because I'm going in hard on the reptilian stuff, and the more people see it, the better we can do it, right? So I need to have more people subscribing, and then get that algorithm. Because if you want to watch it, they'll show you. They won't put it in your feed, but if you begin to watch it, they'll show you. And if we could do that, then it'll be pretty cool to continue, down the pipeline of doing that. Okay. And so I'm just saying it will be a wonderful thing if I can get some of you to go check the channel out. We have 25,787. So we're about 200 away from 26,000. And just maybe some of you, melanated, say, I've been subbed. Thank you. Someone said I was outside myself when I looked to the view in the sky, and it was a red, cloudy, and this, yeah. And it keep looking, and that's when I saw the shadow of a dragon. I don't doubt your story. I believe you saw a dragon, and that's cool, right? High Promise said he just joined. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna refresh my screen. And yeah, I got 2 people. 2, yeah. So y'all actually did. I refreshed my channel screen and it'll show me that 2 more people joined. Someone said I've already described. The book sounds awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And if, like I said, if you can support and become a subscriber, watch some of the videos. We do a lot of reptilian stuff. Go watch the Michael Jackson one, Joe Jackson, where the guy who father of the Shalites worked with the Jacksons. And man, he told a story, you know, how they came in and opened a big mouth, the reptilian mouth. You know, Michael wasn't there, but he tell a story. All right, Payment Kindness says, I just subbed. Thank you. You can go to my website at truthversusauthority.com. I'll put that in the, you know what? Let me see if I have a banner I can put. There we go, right there. Okay. All right, so you can go to my website, and it is truthversusauthority.com. And that will be the thing right there. And yeah, just check it out. And yeah, check it out. And yeah, let me put it back on the screen there. Okay, so there you go right there. Go to truthversusauthority.com. All right, Truth Seekers, I have another new subscriber. So let me look at that. We got 791. Yeah. So look, 209 people. Then we will hit 26,000. That'll be so much of a blessing. I just want, you know, yeah, we can do that. So anyway, I'll continue to say a few more things why some of you be able to jump over there and subscribe. But my site where you can get shirts and other stuff is right there on the screen, truthversusauthority.com. You can download any of your stuff. You can order shirts. You can order some protection gear that we have there. Just a lot of stuff. But go into the reptilian section and you'll see a couple of reptilian shirts. Like I say, I'm wearing one. I don't know if this one is up there, but it's the Shapeshifters Rule the Planet shirt. I don't think I have it on the site yet. But I'm all into this reptilian stuff. I really am. I have 45 books. You know, again, if we can get a lot of people that are becoming researchers, so to speak, spreading different links and different things, we can get to the bottom of it ourselves. Yeah, and yeah, we can do that. Well, Diane, my actual book, physical book, from what I was told from Billy, it was supposed to be in a few weeks or last week, but he's going to Egypt tomorrow, so I think it'll probably happen in about 10 days when he gets back. But it's supposed to be getting ready to go live. And then we'll probably do some shows on it and then figure out how to you know, make it what I would consider to be a bestseller or something, you know, the physical book. But yeah, these other things are digital IDs. I was just reading something from, I forget this guy's name, man, but I was going to read his stuff, and pretty much, yeah. So we can get into a lot of those things. Let me refresh my screen, see if we're good. We got a few more subscribers and stuff. So thank y'all. I know it was. We had a meeting about that today with his assistants, and I was like, look, this thing been on pre-order since March. I can't control it. They're the publisher. He's the publisher. And as you know, going through the divorce and all the stuff that he's been going through, revamping the company, we just got caught in that cycle, man. And I get it, but I do understand. You can reach out to them and get a refund if you need to. I don't know how all that is handled, but I understand. Yeah. And this is a 2-year process for me. And so, Diane, I've been waiting. Shoot. Yeah. Somebody said, Papa Duck on YouTube. All right, then. Okay, so anybody got anything else to say before we get out of here? I would open up the phone lines. I could open up the phone lines and then y'all can call in, but it'll be probably a little too complicated. and then, all of that stuff. But anyway, here's the deal. I love you. I love each and every one of you. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege being here tonight. As always, I will see you Monday on my particular channel. And for those of you who are going to be on our Patreon for the Shadow Network, the Shadow Operators Network, so that we're going to talk about what's in the news. I'll show you ads, show you stuff they're doing. We're going to, most people don't get out of there because it works a little bit. And now that we know what we're going to be talking about and doing and building this thing, you're going to be a special person, a very special person, and everything else. Just also a signed copy, hardcover of the book. Yeah, so the book that y'all are talking about, let me make sure, not the one that I just showed on the screen. The book that she's talking about is this one. It's the actual physical book of the unspeakable truth, and it's how fake history, Christianity, and self-oppression robs the African Americans of the voice of the modern UFO revolution. So this is the book that Billy Carson wrote the foreword on. Okay, he wrote the foreword on, and then there's some other people. Doc B, a lot of them wrote the prequel of it, or a testimonial for it as well. So this is the book. Now you can order that physical book that is coming out. This physical book will be launching, was what we're talking about with Billy, as being the publisher. You know what I'm saying? And so we can do that, and pretty much. Kenyatta says, such a sweetheart. That is, what is the Smurfette? Is that Smurfette talking, right? All right. But yeah, so again, I love you all, and I'm going to get out of here. And Saturday, I'll be in Houston. If you're in Houston area Saturday, I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and leave it out Sunday. But I'll be down there for Brother Yosef's event that he's doing Saturday. And then, of course, again, if you're in Dallas, make sure you join our text list for our meet and greet here at Conspiracy Conscious Meetups here in Dallas, and do that, okay? Just Joy says she loved the truth seekers, all right, and have a relaxing now. All right, so I'm out, y'all. Be peaceful, be vigilant, search for the truth, and become truth speakers of tomorrow, all right? Make sure you do that. I love y'all. See y'all later.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena,
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
all questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs that landed on a ranch outside Roswell. A disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Man, it's fun.